Hello there, you amazing viewers and subscribers. Welcome back to my nice little Doctor Who corner with Doctor Who VHSs, my little posters, and of course the Blu-rays on the side, and my nice little TARDIS on the side of me. So, what am I going to talk about today? So this video is a response question to another sci-fi guy who is one of my favourite YouTubers, and I love supporting his channel, and he's actually one of the followers on my channel as well, which I'm really grateful for. He has replied to some of my videos before. So I've already done a video talking about what is the worst story from each season of the 1970s, plus I added the 60s into it. So this video is another response to him because he asked, what is the worst story from each 1980s season of Doctor Who? So I'm going to go, in this video, I'm going to be talking about from season 18 down to season 26. Now, Doctor Who in the 80s did suffer a lot by micrograding, specifically in 1985 and up to the show's cancellation, which suffered a lot of backlash, including a song called Doctor in Distress, with former cast of Doctor Who, like Colin Baker doing the voice of the Daleks and stuff. So, forget all that. We are diving in to what is the worst story, in my opinion, for each season of Doctor Who. So in season 18, I've had to put this one in worst place because I just can't really get into it that much. It is the Leisure Hive. Now, I do have the Leisure Hive on Target Novel Book. Now, the Target Novel Book is a lot better than the actual main story. Now, I only got this on DVD and Blu-ray. I haven't got the VHS. Yeah, I haven't got it on VHS. So, for me to actually say this is the worst story from season 18, because you can tell everybody is bored while making it. Even Tom Baker basically looks totally bored while filming the story. Like, it's when he gets put... Like, I really think they made him go old after he comes up the Tetox machine, and it comes out, like, really, really old. I think that's just the producers just getting fed up with Tom moaning all the time. And even Tom Baker did not even enjoy making this story. It's not even one of the best ones. Season 19, now we are jumping into Peter Davison as the 5th Doctor. And what is the worst story out of season 19? Do you really need to ask? Of course you need to know and ask. It is Black Orchid. Black Orchid is not a great story for me. I do not enjoy it. I just think it's really, really... season 19, which is a great season, to be honest with you. We have Cash the Valve, Force of Doomsday, Kinder, The Visitation, Black Orchid, Earthshock, and Time Flight. Yes, I enjoyed Time Flight. Time Flight, was my first ever Peter Davison story I ever watched, so I really enjoy it for that. Earthshock was my first ever Solomon story. Cash the Valve is great. Force of Doomsday ain't that good, but it's not the worst. Kinder, I really enjoy Kinder. I like the stories with the Mara. I really prefer Snake Dance over to Kinder, but I still think Kinder's quite good. The Visitation is great. I love The Visitation. It's my it's my third favourite story of this season, but in Peter Davison's whole run, it's my second favourite story from Peter Davison's run. I really enjoyed The Visitation. Black Orchid, I just don't enjoy it. I mean, yes, we have that nice thing with the 5th Doctor playing cricket. We have a 1920s policeman. We have 1920s people dressed around in weird, funny costumes. And then, of course, it just basically has that guy with his tongue ripped out in it, named George. Not a great, interesting story. And the way George kidnaps Nyssa because he looks like Anne, which Sarah Sutton plays two characters in this. She plays Nyssa and Anne. Nyssa's the one that gets kidnapped, and doesn't, so the Doctor's got to try and get Nyssa back from George, who ends up dying anyway. Of course, to try and make a point, the Doctor shows the policeman the TARDIS, so the policeman go for a ride in the TARDIS back to the mansion. Yeah, I just don't enjoy the story that much. Season 20 is The King's Demons. This one I personally don't enjoy. Season 20 is a bit of a mixed bag. You know, you get some good stories, you get some stories that are supposed to be good, but absolutely not as good. You've got the Black Guardian trilogy, which is great. I do like the Black Guardian trilogy, apart from Terminus. Also, we have the 5 Doctors in that season, and the 5 Doctors is great. Which is why I really want season 20 out on Blu-ray soon. But the weak story and the worst story of the season is the King's Daemons. This one I really don't enjoy. When you see the kind of the Master in disguise, and you know it's the Master because it's Anthony Ainley in a really bad disguise. They're not even bothering to proper disguise him. They're not even proper putting him in the proper disguise. They're just giving him like, oh, he's a disguise. Viewers won't know it's you. Anthony Ainley. Oh, look, it's the Master. Yeah, what's he up to this time? And then when he's there with the TCE going, like that, is it about time you jet, Doctor? And he takes the mask off. The Chameleon, I do enjoy. The fact that the Master has control of Chameleon in the next season as well is enjoyable. But the King's Demons ain't that good for season 20. It's the weakest. But after, like, it's the finale story of season 20 before the 5 Doctors came along. And that's all I can say about it. Season 21. If you know me that well, you know the worst story of season 21. Do you really need to know? Of course you do, don't you? Yes, you do. It is the Twin Dilemma. This one is not a great story. Even though people argue, oh no, what are you talking about the Twin Dilemma for? You know, Warriors of the Deep is bad. Yes, Warriors of the Deep is bad, but I really enjoy Warriors of the Deep. Where the Twin Dilemma, I don't enjoy. I understand what they were going for, but it doesn't really pull off well. I mean, with the Doctor being a mixed bag because he got infected by the spectrotoxemia, which basically nearly killed the 5th Doctor, but the regeneration process did take over, and it did something to the Doctor's brain. Yes, he did not spend a lot of time in bed in the story. That's the one thing about it I really have to say. The Doctor is just the Doctor. He has a bit of a few mad moments, like strangling Perry and pretends to be this kind of weak people, like he's a hermit, and Perry's got to suffer with him. I have to say, I do enjoy this story a little bit, but not as much. I mean, Warriors of the Deep, I love Warriors of the Deep a lot more than the Twin Dilemma. That's my opinion, I have to say. I really enjoyed Warriors of the Deep a lot more than the Twin Dilemma. Warriors of the Deep has the return of the Silurians and the Sea Devils, which is the one thing I love it for to be. I really enjoy it. Season 22 now, and it is Time Lash. This one for me, it's not a great story. The Borad is a great design. I like the bit with the time tunnel, the time corridor with the TARDIS being pulled up to. I do like that effect, but the story doesn't really do much for me. I mean, people might say, but what about Mark and Irani? Mark and Irani ain't a good story. Mark and Irani I enjoy because that was the very first time I actually watched that. Is when my dad bought the DVD when we was on holiday. I can't remember where we were at the time, back in 2005 when it came out. And I really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. I loved it. I really still do, actually. I got it on DVD. I think I'm trying to get it on VHS. So I do enjoy that story. Season 23 now, and the worst story for season 23 is Mind Warp. Your mind's probably going, what about the other stories? They're good. The other stories are good. They're interesting. They interest me. Mind Warp, I don't, because 1, it's the adventure where the Doctor got pulled out of time. 2, they kill off Perry. Unfortunately, they don't because they retconned it at the end of the season, but they still, in a way, we see Perry's death. 3, I don't know what's going on, and I don't know why they brought back Sil. I think Sil was an interesting villain for the season before, which is Adventures of Varus. But when you read the actual Target novel book for the what's it called? The missing story when they bring Sil in with the Ice Warriors. That's an interesting story. I wish I would have gone with that one for this season. But Mind Warp isn't that great. I mean, you have Brian Besant playing the King. When you have him, like, being a loud character. And when the Doctor's there in the machine and he comes out and he's more fruity-loopy stuff like he is in Time and Irani. Not Time and Irani, sorry, in the Twin Dilemma. Yeah, that's the one thing I have to say. Yeah. Season 24 is Data and the Barman. in your mind's probably going, but what about Timon and Arani? I enjoyed Timon and Arani because, yes, it wasn't actually a proper Sylvester McCoy script. It was actually scripted for Colin Baker. But I still enjoy it because Colin Baker wouldn't come back to the show because he was sacked. And they wanted him to come back to film the Regeneration story. But he said no. So they had to put Sylvester McCoy in a wig. But I really do enjoy Tom and Arani. I like the fact you got Kate O'Mara. They're in a quarry setting. I like the tech traps. I like the locutions. Where for this story, not that good. The one thing about it I have to say, I like the fact when the solar panel hits into the space bus and the Doctor's there with the umbrella pressing on the button to create an emergency shield to protect the people in the bus, which was actually filmed during Dragonfire, but it was actually moved over for the story because when they were filming Dragonfire, that was the only time we actually see the Doctor in the TARDIS. Because that was the one thing about it that was filmed. I know we see the Doctor in the TARDIS in Time Around Paradise Towers, but they were filmed before. So when they were filming because this story was actually the last story to be filmed for season 24. But they've kind of, like they do film episodes, not in the correct episode order that is shown in, but still much that. I really enjoyed Doubter and the Bowman. I don't really like it that much. I do enjoy it a little bit. I think the one that plays Delta is a great, interesting. Gavrock, I absolutely like, and I love the one the Savage Doctor just goes, actually, I think I've gone a little too far. And then he turns around and then goes. Season 25, it is the greatest show in the galaxy. Yes, I do put this in the honourable mentions, but still the worst story of season 25. Yes, I love every single season, but I love all the other 3 stories more than this story. Because 1, I think it's a bit stupid being set in a circus. I know it's the whole setting. 2, they ran out of the budget, so they literally set up the circus in a car park behind the BBC. So they actually used an old tent to make it proper, and then they just, so on and so on. The gods of Ragnarok, I think they are very interesting. When you see them as in the human forms, and then when the Doctor goes through the little eye, and then he's there in front of them, and he's got to entertain them, and he's there trying his best to entertain them, and they're not really there, but then he literally blows up the tent, and he walks away. That's one thing about it. And then, of course, season 26, it's got to be Battlefield. Because Ghostlight is amazing. The Curse of Fenric is amazing. Survival is just great. This is the one story that season that isn't really okay, but it's not bad. It just makes the season, it doesn't really fit in really, really well. In fact, it brings back the Brigadier is one thing that's making it, that's what makes it interesting for me to sit down and enjoy. Morgaine, she's an interesting villain, but I kind of don't like the music they use for the story. I think the music is not right for this story. That's the one thing about it, it's just the music. So this is what is the worst stories from each 80 season of Doctor Who. Let me know in the comments, what is your worst season? What is your worst story of each season of Doctor Who? If it's season 21, and I understand if you don't like Warriors of the Deep, but you have to see my opinion on the Twin Dilemma. Hopefully you do. So please do like, subscribe and share. Welcome to all the new subscribers, and thank you for watching this video. Please join me for another Doctor Who content video tomorrow. Have a great day.